Starts right now. Here's your host, Erin Summers.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast. I'm Erin Summers. It is a big week for the Saints as mandatory minicamp kicks off tomorrow, Tuesday. It runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, everybody is going to be here. We're going to have a ton of coverage each day. You can always find it on NewOrleansSaints.com, at Saints on social. For today's podcast, I caught up with two of our new coaches, defensive coordinator Joe Woods and defensive line coach Todd Grantham. Woods joins the Saints after 3 years as the DC with the Browns. He's worked in the NFL since 2004, starting as a defensive backs coach. Woods played safety and corner at Illinois State and started his coaching career after graduating in '92. He spent 12 years at the collegiate level, primary as a defensive back coach before moving into the NFL. Let's kick things off with Joe Woods. Coach Woods, thank you for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. How are you?
I am doing good. It's a good day of practice.
Let's go back to the very beginning when you decided you wanted to be a coach. Mm-hmm. What went into that, and when did you kind of have that revelation?
Oh, wow. You mean the very beginning? Mm-hmm. Actually, quick story. It was my senior year in college, and it was like the senior, check out all your gear. You had to turn everything in. So I was walking through the hallway, and my position coach said, "Did you ever think about coaching?" And I was like, I never did, but, I'll give it a shot. And I was a student assistant there my senior year. I coached linebackers. And then I had a chance to either coach running backs at, I think, Eureka College in Illinois, or coach DBs in Muskingum, Ohio. So obviously I wanted to coach DBs. So that was my first job, Division III, coaching DBs at Muskingum, Ohio in 1992.
When you were in college, you majored in criminal justice?
Yes.
Why?
I grew up and I really wanted to be in the FBI.
Okay.
So I had the criminal justice degree, and that's where I saw my future. I didn't know if I'd be a police officer first, but eventually I wanted to get into the FBI, and then this coaching thing got in the way.
How do the two relate at all?
They really don't. I went to college. I didn't. I knew I was going to be an NFL player. I had a good college career, but I just figured I would get into my area of expertise, which I felt like was going to be, law enforcement, FBI. And then it just took a sideways turn to coaching.
You were in college coaching for a while. Then you got your first job in 2004 with the Bucks, unfortunately. But what's been the biggest difference between college and the pros for you?
The NFL always say it's football all day, every day. Mm-hmm. There's some of the things you may have to deal with in college in terms of, recruiting. You had academic study halls, checking on your players, things of that nature. There's a lot more involvement, I think, at the collegiate level, where in the NFL, you're focused on football, just coaching guys all the time.
This is the second time you've coached with DA. Mm-hmm. How have you evolved as a coach from your time there, 2014? It's been a little bit.
You evolve because you're with different coaches. There's different philosophies of defense, different head coaches, in terms of culture, things of that nature. So I think just more experience. The different coaches I was with along the way. After Oakland, I went to Denver with Gary Kubiak, and Wade Phillips was a coordinator. Then from there, I moved on to San Francisco. So I was with Kyle Shanahan, and Robert Saleh, and then I got the coordinator job at Cleveland. I was under Kevin Stefanski. So 3 different guys, kind of 3 different systems, but this really growth and experience.
Why was this the right move for you to come here, coach the Saints?
I've always had a great deal of respect for Dennis. When I was with him at Oakland, I always just said if I ever get another opportunity to work with him, that I would. And, after I got let go of Cleveland, there was a couple other job opportunities, but I told him I had to wait because I didn't know if something was going to open up here. And I spoke with DA, and finally there was an opening, and I took it instantly.
Why? I mean, what is it about that relationship that you value?
Yeah, I think he's one of the better defensive coaches in the league, and he has been that for a long time. So I felt like it was an opportunity for me to learn and grow under him again. Also, he's just a very honest guy, very loyal. You know exactly where you're going to stand. You know what the expectation level is, and he's very, very demanding. And I just like being involved in that type of structure.
There's a lot of people on that side of the ball that focus on the secondary there.
Yeah.
What's the dynamic going to be like between, DA is going to call the plays still, and then you're going to be working with Marcus Robertson a lot?
Right. Yeah, I'm going to take on the, coordinator responsibilities in terms of organization, making sure DA gets the right information, really just trying to make his life easier, with his head coaching responsibilities. He's still going to call it, but I'm going to focus in on coaching the corners, and Emerov's going to coach the safeties. And we had that same dynamic when we were in Oakland with DA. And then to have Coach Junta, just a wealth of knowledge, just the input he gives me on understanding the defense. And then also to have Sterling Moore, who played under DA, played the NFL level. So there's a lot of knowledge in that room.
You've gotten some time here with the players now. OTAs are wrapping up. Yeah. What excites you about this upcoming season?
I think we have a very talented team. And, I think every team, feels like they're going to have a chance to win it. But I know just on previous teams I've been with that there's a lot of talent. And I feel like if we can all pull together, learn how to play together as an offense, defense, and special teams, that we're going to have a chance.
All right, 2022, you ended the season. 6 weeks, you guys had 12 turnovers forced, 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
How can we get that going here?
It really comes down to, you always say rushing coverage working together. And I don't care, collegiate level, NFL level, it's all about the ball. And it's something that you have to practice, that you have to talk about, you have to show examples, but you have to be able to attack the ball. It has to become second nature to you. And really, it's just you doing your job. If you do your job, the opportunities are going to come.
All right, last thing. What do you like to do outside of football?
Oh, man, my hobbies, I like golfing, but my shoulder hurts, so I don't golf as much. I really like fishing, and I like the barbecue. I have 9 different smokers or grills. So that's really what I like to do when I'm not involved in football.
Sounds great. We look forward to seeing you guys on the field here coming up soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Erin. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the time from Coach Woods. Our new defensive line coach, Todd Grantham, played at Virginia Tech. Then he went on to coach for his alma mater under Frank Beamer. Grantham went on to Michigan State, then started coaching in the NFL with the Colts in 1999. After 10 years in the NFL, Grantham went back to college coaching with stops at Georgia, Louisville, Mississippi State, Florida, and most recently Alabama as their defensive analyst. Here's Coach Grantham. Todd, thank you so much for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. How's it been so far getting acclimated to being here with the Saints?
It's been really good being able to get the players back this time of year in OTAs. Had great participation from the players, so it's a good filling out process. Guys get to learn about me, get to introduce our system to them, both guys that have been here forever like Cam and then our new guys that we just drafted. So everybody's got a different learning, from where they are. So really it's about getting guys on the same page, making sure that we all understand each other and that we can have communication so that when the season starts in the fall, we can play fast and play to our ability.
You're coming from college ball. We're there for quite some time as a coach. Why was this the right decision to come back to the pro level and come here?
Yeah, I was in pro ball for 11 years prior to being in college, so I've been in both for a long time. To me, it's about fitting people. Coaching's coaching, but at the end of the day, it's about the people you're around. And, I've got a lot of respect for this organization, for, the people up top, for Dennis and everything that he's done. And really, when you look, they played really good defense last year. Want to be a part of that. Obviously, there's been some players that have been acquired that have come in, to help us. So we got a new team this year. And just want to be a part of, making a program or a franchise that New Orleans can be proud of and being a part of, winning some football games.
Who are you familiar with on the team or the coaching staff? I know you go back with quite a few, but along your way, any players that you've coached?
Well, as far as I'm familiar with Cam, I remember him coming out as a player and, followed his career. Obviously, Zuniga is a guy that I coached at Florida. He's here. But at the end of the day, I did recruit Breesy, when he was coming out, so know him a little bit. then from a, staff standpoint, Dennis is a guy that I visited with in the off season. I've known him, and I got a lot of respect for what he's done, and really just from afar, just knowing the organization itself, the excitement to being able to bring a winning attitude back to this franchise is something I wanted to be a part of.
What are some of your goals for the defensive line?
Well, I think, first of all, number one is play to our ability. You know what I'm saying? And by that, meaning we got to play physical and fast. And at the end of the day, when you look at all games, people talk about a lot of stats. But really, if the other team has a hard time running the ball and they can't run it, then they got to throw it. And then you find ways to make the quarterback play bad, you're probably going to have a good outcome. So, just being able to play with, a relentless attitude, being able to play physical, being able to play fast, and then work on, making impact kind of plays as far as affecting the passing game with the rush and, disrupting, the quarterback.
As you're starting to build chemistry with the line, what excites you about this upcoming season?
I think the first thing is you always want to have flexibility with your guys. So we have some guys in here that can play multiple spots. I like our work ethic. I like our camaraderie. They approach every day with a good attitude to try to get better. And, it is a long season, so I think as long as we take that approach and we work to get a little bit better every day and understand the value of playing with effort, because a lot of times it's not necessarily, what you play from a defensive standpoint, it's how you play it. And that's the mindset to me of, let's make sure that we play with a certain amount of intensity and aggression, and then that kind of carries over and can be contagious.
You said that you recruited Breezy. He's here. Saw him taking some first-team reps there. Can we read into that at all?
Not really. I mean, there's really we rotate guys every day. So as we rotate guys, his day was up today to be there, and then we'll have someone new in tomorrow, because up front you're going to play a lot of guys in the rotation, because what happens is in the fourth quarter you've got to finish the game with your pass rush. And it takes a lot of energy to rush the passer, and big guys have a tendency that as they fatigue, if their gas tank gets low, that rush maybe is not there. So being that, you're going to want to be ahead in the fourth quarter, you've got to have your rush. So the idea is to keep guys fresh, so play a lot of guys and let them finish the game in the fourth quarter.
Foskey talked a lot about coming here and learning under Cam Jordan from somebody that he definitely respects. What have you seen with their relationship?
I think Cam's a really good teacher and can take someone and maybe what they're doing and, give them one or two tips on that thing to where it's pretty simple. It's, hey, work on this. So it's not like 5 things, it's 1 or 2, and then you get better at that and you build it from there. So I think he's done a good job of working with him to try to develop him to, be an asset to our team.
All right, outside of football, what is life like for you when you don't have to come here every day? What do you like to do?
What I like, I love to fish. There's a lot of fishing around here. I love that. I like the golf, but you got to pick one. So if I'm picking one, I'm fishing, but I'll do either one. But other than that, spending time with my family is awesome.
Have you gotten out around here to go fishing?
I have not yet. I've been working too much, but that's okay. I mean, that'll pay off in the long run. But certainly after these next couple of weeks, we're going to see if we can maybe catch a fish or two.
Right. You'll get a little break here before training camp starts.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll have to check back in on that and see how you do.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you.
Appreciate the time from Coach Grantham. Both coaches know they're busy. It's a busy time here, especially with mandatory minicamp starting tomorrow. Again, we'll have complete coverage and we'll wrap up everything that we saw out there at minicamp with John DeShazer next week on the Saints podcast. So make sure you stay tuned and we'll talk to you then. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by SeatGeek. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by SeatGeek.